Hey everyone, welcome back.
Oh.
So today we're diving deep into something that I think a lot of us can relate to.
Yeah, for sure.
Toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially how to deal with them as a highly sensitive person.
Absolutely.
We're going to be looking at this amazing book by Shahida Arabi.
Yeah.
It's called The Highly Sensitive Person's Guide to Dealing with Toxic People.
Really good one.
So we really want to equip you guys with the knowledge to spot those red flags,
For sure.
build up your self-care, and really master the art of boundaries.
Yeah.
And what's super interesting is we're even going to touch on how our brains
Oh, yeah.
actually react to these toxic relationships.
It's fascinating.
So yeah, get ready to have your mind blown a little bit.
Buckle up.
Okay, so to set the stage,
Okay.
let's talk about what it actually means to be a highly sensitive person.
Right. So it's not just about like being sensitive to,
Right.
someone's criticism or, things like that.
Right.
It's actually a much deeper thing. It's about how intensely you experience your environment and your relationships.
Okay.
So it's both emotional and physical.
Wow, and this is like a real thing.
Yeah, this is not just like a personality quirk. There's
Yeah.
actually science behind it.
Right, because the book mentions these fMRI studies.
Oh, yeah. Those are so cool.
Yeah, and they showed that HSPs' brains actually light up more
Yeah.
in response to emotional cues.
That's right.
And especially in areas related to like empathy and awareness.
Exactly.
So it's like,
So they're kind of on high alert.
right, they're more tuned in.
Yeah, more tuned in.
Yeah, to the emotional world around them.
So then that kind of leads into
Yeah.
this whole thing about the mirror neuron system.
Yes, one of my favorite topics.
Really?
It's just fascinating.
Okay, fill us in.
Okay, so these are basically the cells in our brains that fire.
Okay.
Not only when we do something,
Okay.
but when we watch someone else do it too.
Oh, wow.
So it's like we're mirroring their actions in our minds,
That's crazy.
and it plays a huge role in empathy. Okay, so then how does that tie in with HSPs?
Well, it seems that HSPs have like a supercharged mirror neuron system.
Oh, well,
So they're incredibly attuned to other people's emotions.
right.
It's almost like they're feeling them firsthand.
Wow. So like if someone's feeling down,
Exactly.
they're really going to feel it.
They're going to pick up on it much more strongly.
Wow, that's really powerful.
It is. But here's the catch.
Oh,
This also makes them more vulnerable to toxic people.
right. Because they're so...
Yeah, because they're so empathetic
Yeah.
and they can really get caught up in
Right.
other people's negativity.
Okay, so how do we even begin to like identify these toxic people?
Right. Well, Arabi has this really cool concept
Yeah.
called the toxicity spectrum.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. It's basically a range from, the mildly annoying
Yeah.
to like the seriously dangerous
Okay.
and everything in between.
Got it.
So it's like a sliding scale,
Makes sense.
right? So on one end, you might have someone who's just like a little bit clueless about boundaries,
Yeah.
They talk too much, they overshare.
Right.
But then on the other end, you have those who are like full-blown narcissists or even sociopaths.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so she's saying there are different levels.
Exactly. Different levels of toxicity.
Okay.
And we need to be aware of the whole spectrum.
Right, because how we deal with someone who just doesn't know boundaries,
Exactly.
it's going to be way different
Totally
than how
different.
we deal with a narcissist.
You got it.
Okay, cool. So then what are some of the specific types that she outlines?
Okay, so she breaks it down into 5 main categories.
Okay.
We have boundary steppers,
Okay.
attention seekers, energy vampires,
Oh, yeah.
narcissists,
Right.
and sociopaths, psychopaths.
Right. So like the last two
Yeah.
are like the real,
Those are the heavy hitters.
yeah, the heavy hitters.
Yeah, the ones that can really cause serious damage.
Right.
Ah.
It's not just like annoying.
It's harmful.
Harmful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we got to be really careful with those.
Absolutely. We need to know what we're dealing with.
Okay, and I think what's so tricky
Yeah.
about, especially those last two,
hmm
is that they can be so charming.
Oh, they're masters of disguise. They
Oh.
know how to draw you in.
Yeah, and especially for HSPs who are already so empathetic,
Exactly.
they can be really susceptible to
It's
that.
a recipe for disaster.
Okay, so let's talk about some
Oh.
of these manipulative tactics.
Yeah, let's dive into the toxic playbook.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So you've got things like gaslighting,
Okay.
which is where they basically make you question your own sanity. They twist reality.
Oh my gosh.
They deny things that happened.
Mhm.
They make you feel like you're going crazy.
That's messed up.
It is. It's really insidious.
Yeah.
And then you have the love bombing devaluation cycle.
Okay, let's do that.
So this is where they start off by showering you with affection. gifts attention, making you feel like you're the most amazing person in the world.
Right.
And then suddenly they pull back.
Huh.
They become distant critical.
Oh.
And it leaves you feeling totally confused and desperate for that initial high again.
Oh my gosh. That's like playing with people's emotions.
It is. It's a classic manipulation tactic.
Wow. Okay. So then what I find really interesting is how she compares these toxic relationships to addiction.
Oh, yeah. It's a powerful analogy because there's actually a biochemical component to it.
Oh, wow.
You know those hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, cortisol?
Yeah.
They all get involved.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like your brain is being hijacked by these intense emotional experiences.
So it's literally like a drug.
In a way, yes.
That's wild.
So breaking free from these relationships,
Yeah.
it's not just a matter of willpower. It's like going through withdrawal.
Wow. Okay. So then what can we do about that?
Well, that's where self-care comes in.
Okay.
It's crucial.
Because if it's like an addiction,
right?
You have to like retrain your brain.
Exactly. We need to rewire those neural pathways.
Okay.
And find healthier ways to meet our needs.
So what are some specific things that we can do?
Well, the book suggests replacing those unhealthy dopamine triggers with healthy ones.
Like what?
Things like exercise, getting out in nature, pursuing your passions, spending time with loved ones.
Good stuff.
Things that make you feel good.
Yeah.
But in a sustainable way.
Right.
Not that quick fix.
Not that quick fix that the toxic relationship was giving you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then she also talks about boosting oxytocin.
Right. That's the cuddle hormone.
Yeah.
Makes us feel connected and loved.
So how do we do that?
Well, things like safe physical touch.
Okay.
Spending time with loved ones and pets.
Pets.
Yeah, pets are amazing for oxytocin.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's all about nurturing those healthy relationships.
Okay, so dopamine, oxytocin.
Cortisol.
Oh, yeah, the stress hormone.
The one that goes haywire in toxic relationships. We got to get that under control.
How do we do that?
Well, Arabi recommends practices like meditation, yoga, even laughter therapy.
I love that.
Yeah, it sounds silly, but it really works.
Okay.
It helps soothe your nervous system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And bring things back into balance.
Right, because you're probably so stressed out.
Exactly. Your body is in fight or flight mode.
From that relationship.
Yeah. So we need to calm things down.
Okay. So we're working on all those hormones.
Yeah, it's a whole body approach. We got to address the physical and the emotional.
Okay, cool. Now, there was one more thing that really stood out to me.
Okay, what's that?
This whole idea of reframing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is so powerful.
Yeah, what is that?
It's basically a set of cognitive techniques that help you challenge those negative thoughts and beliefs. That can keep you stuck in a toxic cycle.
Okay, I need an example.
Sure. So let's say you catch yourself thinking, I can't trust myself. You might reframe that as, I'm learning to trust my intuition more.
Oh, I like that.
Right. It's about shifting your perspective
Yeah.
and taking back your power.
Okay, that's really good. Because I think, especially for HSPs, they often blame themselves
Oh, absolutely.
for other people's bad behavior.
They take on too much responsibility. It's like they have this superhero complex.
Right, they want to fix everyone.
Exactly. But we can't fix other people.
Right.
We can only control ourselves.
And our reactions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how do we protect ourselves?
That's where boundaries come in.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that.
Right. Because boundaries are essential.
Yeah.
They're like our electric fence.
I like that.
Right? They protect our physical, emotional, and psychological space.
Okay, so how do we actually set those boundaries?
Well, first, we need to be clear about what we will and won't accept. Right. What are our non-negotiables?
Yeah.
And then we need to communicate those limits clearly and consistently.
So not just like one time.
No, it's got to be an ongoing thing. You have to show people where the line is.
And what happens if they cross it?
Well, then there need to be consequences.
Okay.
It might mean distancing yourself from that person.
Yeah.
Or limiting contact. Or even ending the relationship altogether.
Right, because sometimes that's the healthiest thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes walking away is the best boundary.
Wow. That's powerful stuff.
It is. It's about putting yourself first.
Yeah.
And protecting your well-being.
Love it.
And sometimes that means recognizing that some relationships, even with family, might need to be reevaluated.
Yeah.
You have the right to protect yourself, even if it means distancing yourself from those who hurt you.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is, but it's so important.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about self-care.
Yes. This is huge for HSPs.
Especially after dealing with all this toxicity.
Absolutely. We need to replenish those emotional reserves.
Right.
And find ways to soothe our frayed nerves.
Okay, so remind me again.
Okay.
How does self-care tie into...
Right. So remember how we talked about that biochemical addiction?
Yeah, with all the hormones.
Exactly. So self-care is all about replacing those unhealthy triggers with healthy ones.
Okay, so more of the exercise.
Exactly. More of the exercise, the nature, spending time with loved ones, boosting that oxytocin.
Right. And managing that cortisol.
Exactly. We got to bring those stress levels down.
Okay, so it sounds like there are a lot of different tools that we can use.
Arabi talks about a whole range of options.
Like what?
Well, there's traditional therapy, of course.
Right.
But then there are also alternative therapies.
Okay.
Like EFT.
Okay.
EMDR. Acupuncture. Aromatherapy.
Wow. So many choices.
Yeah. It's all about finding what works for you.
Right. Your own personal self-care toolbox.
Exactly.
Okay. And then she also mentions mindfulness.
Yes. Mindfulness is huge for HSPs.
Yeah. How so?
Well, it can really help with emotional regulation.
Okay.
Cultivating self-compassion.
Right.
And just developing a sense of presence.
Okay, so like meditation.
Meditation is great.
Yeah.
Yoga, anything that helps you tune in to your body and your breath.
Right, okay. And sometimes self-care can be like super simple.
Oh, absolutely. Like taking a walk in nature.
Yeah.
Listening to music. Spending time with a pet.
I love that.
Yeah, it's the little things.
The little things, yeah.
That can make a big difference.
Okay, so she has this acronym that I love.
Oh, yeah, medicine.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Okay, so it stands for medicinal support.
Okay.
Eating mindfully. Drug avoidance.
Okay.
Intellect.
Intellect.
Okay.
Caretaking.
Idolize.
What does that mean?
Idolize yourself.
Okay.
Treat yourself with kindness and respect. Nurse injuries and triggers.
Okay.
And exercise.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
It is. But it's a great reminder to take care of ourselves.
In all areas of our lives.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so we're taking care of ourselves.
Right.
But we also need to be aware of our triggers.
Oh, yeah. This is huge.
Especially for HSPs.
Right. Because we're so sensitive to our surroundings.
Yeah, so how do we manage those triggers?
Well, first we need to identify them.
Okay.
Arabi suggests creating a trigger inventory.
The trigger inventory. Okay.
So basically just a list of situations, people, sensory experiences that tend to set us off.
That make us feel...
Yeah, that make us feel overwhelmed.
Okay.
Anxious, stressed.
Okay, so once we know what our triggers are...
Then we can start to develop coping mechanisms.
Okay.
So that might involve avoiding certain situations, practicing grounding techniques, setting boundaries, or even seeking professional help.
Okay, so basically we're trying to move from like a place of reaction to a place of empowerment.
Exactly. We want to be in control of our emotional well-being.
I like that. Okay, so we've talked about self-care.
Right.
We've talked about triggers. Let's get back to different types of toxic people.
Yeah, let's break it down.
So we've already touched on the malignant types.
Right, the narcissists and sociopaths.
But there are also those who are kind of more on the benign side.
Right. So Arabi starts with the boundary steppers.
Okay.
These are the people who are well-intentioned.
Okay.
But they just don't really get personal space. They overshare. They offer unsolicited advice.
Oh, yeah.
They're just kind of clueless about boundaries.
But they're not necessarily trying to hurt you?
No, they're usually not malicious.
Right.
But their behavior can still be draining.
Especially for HSPs.
Absolutely. We can get easily overwhelmed.
Okay. Then what about the attention seekers?
The attention seekers.
They're all about spotlight.
To spotlight, yeah.
They need to be the center of attention.
So they might monopolize conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Exaggerate stories.
For sure.
Create drama.
It's all about getting that validation.
Yeah.
That attention.
So it's more about their own insecurity than
often
trying to hurt someone.
It's a cry for help in a way.
Oh, okay. And then there are energy vampires.
Oh, the energy vampires.
I think we all know
a few of those.
Right. These are the people who just suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
They're always complaining, dumping their problems on you.
Right.
But they don't want solutions.
They just want to complain.
Exactly. They just want to feed off your energy.
Wow. Okay. So even though these types aren't as malicious as the narcissists and sociopaths, we still need
boundaries.
Set boundaries.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We don't have to tolerate behavior.
Right.
That makes us feel bad.
Even if it's unintentional.
Exactly.
Okay. So then let's shift our focus back.
Okay.
The more malignant types.
Right.
The narcissists and sociopaths.
These are the ones that we really got to watch out for.
They can be very dangerous.
Because they're so good at manipulating people.
Masters of manipulation.
And they often use these tactics to get what they want.
Without any regard for others.
Okay, so what are some of those tactics?
Well, Araby goes into a lot of detail.
Okay.
But some of the most common ones are gaslighting, love bombing, devaluation, triangulation, smear campaigns, and hoovering.
Wow, that's a whole arsenal.
It is, and they use them very effectively.
Okay, so let's break those down a little bit.
Okay.
What is gaslighting again?
So gaslighting is basically when they manipulate you
into doubting your own perceptions.
Right.
They might deny things that happen, twist your words, or accuse you of being crazy.
Oh, wow.
It's a very insidious form of abuse.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like you're losing your mind.
Exactly.
Okay, and then what about love bombing?
So love bombing is when they shower you with attention, affection, gifts early on in the relationship.
Oh, so they're like really trying to
hook you in. Yeah. Create this intense bond.
So that you're more likely to stay when the bad stuff starts happening.
Exactly. When the devaluation begins.
And that's when the rug gets pulled out from under you.
Yeah. It can be brutal.
So what does that look like?
Well, they might become critical, dismissive, even abusive.
Wow.
And you're left wondering, what happened to that amazing person I fell in love with?
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Exactly. And they might also use triangulation.
Triangulation? What's that?
So that's where they bring in other people to create drama and insecurity.
Oh, like another love interest?
It could be, yeah.
Wow.
Or it could be family members, friends, anyone they can use to manipulate you.
So they're playing mind games.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there are the smear campaigns.
Right. So this is where they try to damage your reputation.
Oh, gosh.
They spread lies about you.
Wow.
They try to turn people against you.
So it's like a total character assassination.
It can be. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then what about hoovering?
Ah, hoovering. So this is when you've managed to break free.
Right.
You've gone no contact. And then they try to suck you back in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They might apologize.
Okay.
Promise that they've changed. Shower you with gifts.
Wow. So they're trying to lure you back into that.
Exactly. Back into the trap.
Wow. That's so messed up.
It is. It's really hard to resist.
Especially if you're still attached to them.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So dealing with these malignant types sounds really intense.
It can be very challenging.
So what do you recommend?
Well, Robbie stresses the importance of professional help.
Okay.
Having a therapist who understands these dynamics can be invaluable.
Right. And then also setting those firm boundaries.
Absolutely. Boundaries are crucial.
Okay.
And remember, your safety and well-being come first.
Always. Always.
Okay.
So she also talks about this thing called a trauma bond.
Oh, yeah. This is really important to understand.
What is that?
So it's basically a psychological dependence that develops in these abusive relationships.
So even though you know it's bad for you,
right,
you're still drawn to them.
Exactly. It's like an addiction.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is. And it can be very difficult to break.
So breaking free from a narcissist sounds like a real journey.
It is. It takes time, patience.
And a lot of self-work.
Okay, so what are some of the steps?
Well, Arabi talks about recognizing their tactics.
Right.
Setting those boundaries.
Okay.
Prioritizing self-care. And seeking support.
Support from, like, other people who understand.
Exactly. Therapist support groups.
Okay.
With one.
So it's like a whole community effort.
In a way, yes.
Wow. Okay. And then one of the things that I found really helpful was this idea of reframing.
Oh, yes. Reframing is so powerful.
Tell me more about that.
So it's basically about challenging those negative thoughts that we often have and replacing them with more positive ones.
Give me an example.
Sure. So let's say you're thinking, I'm too sensitive. You might reframe that as, my sensitivity is a strength.
I love that.
Right. It allows me to connect deeply with others.
Yeah.
It makes me compassionate and empathetic.
Okay, so it's about turning those negatives.
into positive.
Well, flipping the script.
Yeah, I like that.
And Arabi also provides a lot of other strategies
Okay.
for managing emotions, coping with stress, and building self-compassion.
So it's like a whole toolkit.
It is. And she encourages HSPs to explore different healing modalities, from therapy to yoga, meditation, art therapy.
Wow. So many options.
The key is to find what works for you.
Yeah, your own personal recipe for healing.
Exactly.
Wow, this has been so insightful.
I'm glad you found it helpful.
I really have. And I think our listeners will too.
I hope so.
So let's recap some of the key takeaways.
Sounds good.
Just to kind of like cement them in everyone's minds.
Let's do a top 10 list.
Okay, top 10 list. I love it.
Number 1, HSPs experience the world with heightened intensity.
Right. It's not a weakness, it's a gift.
Exactly.
Okay. Number 2?
Toxic people exist on a spectrum.
Right.
From annoying to dangerous.
Okay. Number 3.
Narcissists and sociopaths use specific tactics to manipulate and control.
Okay. Number 4.
Toxic relationships can be addictive.
Right.
Literally addictive.
Wow. Okay.
And number 5.
Boundaries are your first line of defense.
Protect that energy.
Yes.
Number 6.
Reframe those negative thoughts.
Love it. Number 7.
Self-care is essential.
Not selfish. Essential. Exactly.
Number 8.
Remember the acronym MEDICINE.
Medicinal support. Eating mindfully. Drug avoidance. Intellect caretaking. Idolize nurse injuries and triggers. Exercise.
That's a mouthful.
It is, but it's good.
It is. Trust your intuition. As an HSP, you have a strong inner voice.
Listen to it.
Yes.
The number 10.
Knowledge is power.
Boom.
Understanding these concepts can transform your life.
So true. So there you have it, guys. 10 powerful takeaways.
Help you navigate the world of toxic people.
And remember, you are not alone.
Absolutely. There's a whole community of HSPs out there who get it.
And we're here for you.
We are.
So go forth. Set those boundaries.
Yes.
Practice that self-care.
For sure.
And shine your beautiful light.
Shine bright.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.